Alright guys, welcome back! We are now Korean, and...
안녕하세요.
Okay, so, like you were saying, Keen is keen on beating Alive. Alive is keen on staying alive.
Yep, Alive's currently sitting at 3-0, so even if he loses this match, he should still be able to make it to Code S. But there's always a chance that 3 players will get 3-1, and then he'll have to play a full round again. So that's always a nerve-wracking situation. It's happened a lot in some other tournaments. Very exciting for the viewers, but for the players, it's very nerve-wracking. So once again, we see that the left side is a little overpowered compared to the right, or one side is a little overpowered compared to the other. Keen lost the first one, a little unfortunate for him, but there's the rest of the results for today.
Yeah, so you guys can take a look at those, and I mean, we've already talked a lot about who's winning and all that, but pretty much Bonbons is guaranteed to not advance to Code S. He's lost 2 games, and you just pretty much can't do that when other players have won 3, which has happened.
Yeah, Inca's in the same situation. He's also 0-2. They will be playing, or it's really going to depend on the game after this one, which will be Inca versus Linok, to see if Inca has any sort of fighting chance left.
Yeah, if he beats Linok, then he could potentially make it if if 2 players don't win 3 games. But if 2 players win 3 games, then you can't. If you've lost 2, then you just can't make it anymore.
All right, we're talking a little too much about these hypotheticals. Let's just talk about the game that's coming up right now, which is going to be on Crevasse. Alive versus Keen. TVT, the first one of today. We've had a lot of TVTs in the up and down matches. Some really interesting games. Some normal, long chess-like games. But like the last game of yesterday was very interesting with 2 different types of very aggressive harassment that almost brought the game back to 6 SCVs for each player, no tech left. Start over again, come on, let's go.
That actually happened in the game we had earlier today. Everything had to restart.
A little bit different, wasn't the player's choice. So we are actually going to be on Crevasse. This is a very large map. It does actually yield a lot of those longer chess-like tank airplay games.
Zelnok Watchtower is very important on this map. So is composition.
Yeah.
Alright guys, the first TVT of the day, Keen versus Alive on Crevasse. Keen.
Alive.
Who's gonna come out on
GSL.
top?
GSL.
Okay, over here on the bottom right, our TSL player.
As soon as he enters the game, he's building a supply depot. Oh wait, the game's been going on for a minute.
TSL, Alive!
It's like, is that a 6 depot? What is this, Torch?
He's trying to get out the 8 racks, but he has to build the supply depot first after that first match.
That's my least favorite balance change, Dustin. I know you're listening.
Yep.
And David Kim, why did you guys do that? It was so cool when you could BBS.
Or just build a barracks early and get out some Reapers like I always did.
Or you can make your orbital faster. Anyway,
MVP Keen
is on the top left side of the map.
Yep, so because of that change, we have only 2 tech paths early on. It's either build a barracks or build a refinery first. And both players are choosing to build the barracks first.
Yep. Remember guys, Alive is 3-0. If he wins this, he does get a Code S spot guaranteed. There's no way he could not.
For all you guys that like Pepsi, there's a Pepsi brand called Next that has all the taste and no sugar, if you saw our little ad at the bottom of the screen.
It's very true. It's very good. I'm actually drinking it right now on this cast. You guys have seen it on my desk.
Yep. Very healthy form of soda.
Well, it's healthier.
Healthier, yeah. And if you want healthy, there's always Gatorade and some other products that Pepsi produces. And then if you want super healthy, you just get some G-Skill RAM, plug it into your brain, and then you don't need any energy at all anymore.
Yep. Very true. You don't have to remember anything. G-Skill just does it for you.
So we have no gas coming out here for Keen. He's going to try to get that expansion up early and probably get the gas at that expansion. Meanwhile, Alive is getting a pretty normal build, getting his gas at a normal timing, just trying to... He's actually not building any Marines yet.
Yeah, he's going to... I think he's going to go for a command center before factory. Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do. Okay. So he's doing a tech and CC build. It's like really interesting how he's doing this, but I like it. I like this build better than Alive's.
Yeah.
Because it gives him a lot more options. This is something you see Terrans do every now and then. It does allow Keen to scout what he's doing, but...
He's actually got a refinery up earlier, so he's got 100 more gas than Keen does.
Yep, and look at that. His command center is literally only 6 seconds behind.
Yeah. That's actually really awesome for
it's a better build. It just is. There's nothing else to say. Torch, better build.
All right. I trust you.
Trust me, man. So those 2 Marines, are they really that significant? No, actually, they're not.
Not when you've got Hellions coming out very soon, and tanks, and possibly Banshees.
This build isn't always better, by the way, guys. For Crevasse, it is, because you can get the command center up behind the base.
Yep.
Neither player would have done a build like this.
Not only can you get the command center up behind the base, but also your second refinery, or your first if you're delaying a little bit, can be on that higher yield gas, which completely changes the efficiency of your units. You really want to get your SCVs working on that high yield gas as much as possible.
You can do this build on another map. You can't build your command center at the actual minerals. There's a difference, of course. Now, Keen has actually added 2 barracks. Yep. Fears that he could be under attack fairly soon. He also can be aggressive when you do something like this.
Yeah, but he did scout what's going on, so he does know exactly that there is a gas coming out. So there's going to be tech. The starport for Alive is finished, or almost finished. He's got the factory as well. So it's going to be difficult for Keen to defend, but he's going to have a lot of Marines out of these 3 barracks. He's also going to have the upgrades from the tech lab, so he should be able to defend relatively easily. We also have a medevac, a Viking coming out here. So Alive is feeling a little insecure. He doesn't know if a Banshee's coming out, so he is getting that Viking just in case. Meanwhile, he's getting Hellion with his tech lab on his factory, and that tech lab is now going to be producing Blue Flame.
Blue Flame is really popular on this map because, especially when you're at cross positions like this, the Banshee takes forever to get to the other side of the map. You get the Hellions out. The Hellions is not just like a move where he's going, well, hopefully I can just kill a ton of his SCVs with my Hellions. It's more of a, I can control all the watchtowers with these Hellions, and I can always know where my opponent is at any given time.
Yeah, because this map is so large, and with the rocks in the beginning of the map before they're taken out, it makes the effective distance of the map even longer. So having those really fast Hellions really changes the way that you can control the map. So the first Viking is going out, scouting a little bit. He's actually going to drop it down and kill this SCV with the Viking. Interesting maneuver. I like seeing those Vikings be used a bit more with their drop-down ability.
3 Hellions on the dropship.
And that 4th Hellion that's being produced will most likely be able to meet that medevac before it goes for the drop. If not, 3 Hellions is still pretty good.
Yep, he's going to try to do as much damage as he can at the backdoor expansion here. There's no turret. There are a few Marines, but those Marines are going to wish they weren't there, actually, against Blue Flame.
Blue Flame and the ability for the medevac to pick up any sort of hurt Hellion and get it away.
Oh, he might actually bring the Viking.
But only on the grounds.
No, he's going to pick it up, man. Oh, well, he had it selected. Yeah. He didn't do it, though.
It's actually not a bad idea to do that. Obviously, Vikings can land on their own, but the thing is, if you have them in a medevac, you can drop them and pick them up quicker. So you can make them a lot more effective at harassing. So as you were saying, these Blue Flames are going to do a ton of damage to these Marines. Picks up the hurt Hellion when it needs to be. Drops it again a little bit further away. Take out a bit more SCVs. No damage has been taken by Alive in this drop quite yet. Or no unit losses. Obviously, all of his stuff is hurt. But getting those extra little kills is great for him to do at this stage in the game.
And these Marines predict the dropship will come over here to the left side, so he is prepared for this.
Yeah, and he doesn't go completely on the edge. He does want to encourage the drop to actually happen so he can finish off those units. He knows that those Hellions are all hurt, so only a few more hits and you can take them out completely.
Live is completely meching here. As you guys will get a shot back in his base. He's got 3 factories up. He's got a starport with reactors, making pure Vikings right now as he makes his 3rd command center.
Yeah, if he can get those Vikings out and patrol them outside of his base, he can defend against these types of drops. 2 more completely repaired Hellions are meeting with the rest of them. Meanwhile, the medevac is going to head home and most likely get repaired.
These Hellions controlling the watchtowers means that when Keen moves out with this bio force, it's going to be completely spotted. He's actually going to be able to target down Marines and then run away. Concussive Shells isn't done yet, so he can't force the Hellions to get killed.
Yeah, Hellions have a lot of potential to do a lot of interesting things. We saw
lose one.
One goes down. We saw really nice control of the Hellions by QXC in the QXC versus IM team match. It's QXC versus IM, not FXO versus IM, just for anyone that wants the official name.
Exactly. These Hellions, of course, hiding at the watchtowers until the last second where they run away. And this dropship is going to get taken out.
5 Vikings take out medevacs very, very quickly.
The composition for Alive is just going to be much better. The factory for Keen just finished. Like, he just finished the tech lab. He's making his first siege tank right now. And, you know, back at the home of Alive, he's already got 3 siege tanks out.
He's got 3 siege tanks, and he's got 3 factories, like you were just about to say.
He's got 2 tanks being made per round at the factories. He's continuing to make Hellions. And he's got Siege mode up faster. He's got Vikings out already to win the air battle.
Yep.
And Keen is going to be in a lot of trouble if he tries to just kind of stay behind and just try to catch up on Siege Tank. It's not going to work. He's going to have to make something happen like he's trying to do now. He's getting aggressive with these units. He might try to do a drop. But there are so many Vikings out, he doesn't really want to.
Yeah, if he moves these medevacs in, they're going to get taken out extremely quickly before they can even drop any of their units. 5 Vikings take out medevacs in a single, or in 2 volleys, excuse me.
Yeah, 1 volley per
do
medevac
as well.
I mean, no, 1 volley.
Yeah. But this is a lot of tanks here. A tank versus a Marauder. 1-to-1 is not a good situation you want to be in as the bio player.
No, you do not.
And the Hellion isn't going to be able to... Oh! Well, he spots it, but not with the Zelnaga Tower.
This Viking's going to go over here and try to pick off the drop ships because they outrange the Marines.
Yep.
Both players taking the 3rd bases. Alive having his just a little bit faster. Six barracks, or 5 barracks actually, back at the home of Keen. He's making this Marine King type of force where he's got bio and tanks. But the
Wow,
problem
that is a lot of Vikings. I think he has 10 Vikings on the field right now. 9.
11.
11.
2 more just popped out. He's making 2 at a time out of the reactor.
Yeah. So that does give him the ability to completely control the air, limit the medevacs. When you don't have medevacs as the bio player, you can't stim too much because you can't repair that stim. So any sort of stims that Alive can force and then back away without actually engaging is just damage that you're doing to your opponent's army. We also have some sensor towers on the way for Alive. He wants to prevent any sort of drops from happening. Just know where they're coming from, and then you can react with all these Vikings that he has. We also have 2 command centers coming out here for Alive.
Uh-oh. This drop actually wasn't spotted. The sensor tower was just a little bit too late, but there are Hellions blocking it at the backdoor expansion of Alive.
Yeah, it's going to force all the SCVs to run away and take out that sensor tower that was just finished. All the Marines, or well, most of the Marines were killed, but these Marauders take very little damage from the Hellions.
He can actually clean this up with the Vikings if he wants to.
Or just SCVs. SCVs do a pretty good job against Marauders. But that's going to trigger Keen to do an attack on the front. At the same time, there's really nice timing by Keen. He is able to take down all these siege tanks and is going to do a lot of work on these SCVs as well. These Vikings are going to need to land to fight this off, but they are going to do that pretty easily when they do eventually land. But that was a lot of damage.
Yeah, right now the siege tank count is in Keen's favor. It's at 4-2.
Meanwhile, we have a drop again going on by Keen.
That's actually just the same drop. Like, he needed to land his Vikings over there. I don't know why he did. He lost so many SCVs. And Alive dealt with this so poorly that even though he had such a huge lead and such a great composition advantage, now he is so behind, and he's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna hold this this attack. I absolutely don't.
Yeah,
don't think
Keen
there's
is
a chance of that.
slowly moving in, being a little safe, and realizing that he does have the advantage. So now he's going to move in with his Marauders and his siege tanks. The siege tanks siege up. The Vikings land. All the siege tanks for Alive are dead. Hellions with Blue Flame do nothing against armor. All these Vikings that Alive did have as an advantage are going to die. He's got only 6 left when he started at 11.
He's going to clean up these Vikings. May get the siege tank as well here. Looks like he will. But the Marauder's coming back to help out again. He needs to lift up.
Yeah, every single time that these Vikings land, it helps him win the fight, but the thing is that these Vikings are very hard to replace. They're a lot more expensive than they are worth in a fight straight up on the ground. So every single time this happens, it's moving more and more in Keen's favor. He's currently sitting at 106 supply compared to Alive's 86. It's allowing Keen the ability to expand again, so he's trying to get a 4th. Meanwhile, Alive is stuck on 3 bases after losing a ton of SCVs.
Keen does have the watchtower here, which is really, really important. Well, he just lost it with Alive's Hellions coming over. And he's just going to continue to be aggressive with this bio. He's not stopping, he's not slowing down, and he's just taking off units wherever he can. Just continue to be aggressive, and Alive is just not able to replenish his army as quickly as Keen is because he's going for a more bio-heavy army, whereas Alive is just making mech units which take forever at the factory.
Yeah, Alive also has a lot of, or doesn't have the upgrade advantage that Keen does. Keen's working on his +2 for his bio units. I don't think there's even an armory on the field yet for Alive. If there is, then it's not even being used yet. Yes, it's there, but
he has +1.
Only +1 for his mech. Not trying to get any of the higher upgrades quite yet.
Hellions killing some SCVs over here. It's something you can do with your Hellions. Nice moves.
Didn't actually get any kills, though. So we are finally seeing those extra command centers that Alive made. It was interesting to see that he made 2 extra command centers in his base, get a lot of more mules to get the minerals out, to get a ton of Hellions.
2 more factories in production for Alive, so he's got this resilient force. Keen is going to try to break him here, I think, and he may be successful. If this attack works, Alive is just going to lose. I mean, it's not gonna work, and then he holds off, and then maybe loses natural. If he kills the tanks that Alive has right now, the game will end.
Well, that's the other thing, is it's very difficult for Alive to get his force back. Even if he doesn't win this battle decisively, he's going to be far ahead, or far behind.
Viking's going to clean up these drops. Oh, that dropship is full! Now it's not.
But the Vikings taking a lot of extra damage that they didn't really need to do at that time.
And those command centers just not really able to be used because he can't secure those locations, whereas Keen has already taken a 4th base, he's even taking a 5th one at the bottom left.
Medevac, or the orbital command of Alive is staying in the orbit, not actually able to use any of its abilities, and not able to find a place to make a home for the rest of his SCVs.
This is looking pretty bad for Keen. I mean, for Alive, rather. Looking pretty good for Keen. He's just got the entire map now. He can adjust his composition to whatever he would like.
Yep.
Working a little bit too close to those siege tanks to try to take out a Hellion. Nice drop defense here.
Yeah, finally using all those Vikings to their potential. But we see that this base still is not saturated yet. There's no SCVs at it at all.
That actually really evened up the supply, losing those 2 dropships full of units.
Yeah, we do actually see a SCV lead by Alive. That's interesting to see, even though he's lost so many SCVs over and over again.
Now he's got this Viking air superiority. He's going to use this to actually run forward here. Siege is up, using Hellions to tank shots. Going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah,
and
King
Alive
focusing on his Hellions instead of the tanks.
Alive is actually taking the supply lead here. He's going to be able to secure this base now. This is what happens when you have a much better composition than your opponent. And he's going to take out these tanks over here. The Vikings taking a lot of hits from the Thor. He needs to pull those Vikings back.
He does take out a lot of the tanks that were in range of taking out his command center. That's exactly what he needed to do. He's also starting to get a really nice line of defense along all of his bases with these siege tanks.
Whoa.
Drops 6 mules, seven mules down at the same time. That's going to give him a huge income lead very, very soon. Good to see, since he does have a bit of extra gas saved up, so he can start to get a lot of units.
Alive does have 5 bases though,
yep.
And he just got his 5th base, whereas Keen's had 5 bases for a long time. But again, the composition for Alive is just better than Keen's right now. He just has to make sure that it doesn't get spread too thin against a very aggressive and mobile Bioforce.
Yeah, those Vikings didn't do a whole lot early in the game, but we saw just moments ago that its power was shown when he was able to prevent the drops from the Bio. And then the rest of his force in a straight fight is going to be a lot stronger. These tons of tanks do not allow the Marauders to get anywhere close to do any sort of damage. And then just having those extra tanks, you're able to throw a few away in exchange for taking out the position of Keen.
It's 15 tanks for Alive to just 5 tanks for Keen. Plus 3 weapons coming out though for Keen. That's going to be very good for his Bio. He already has plus 2 armor, and Alive just got plus 2 vehicle weapons. He doesn't have 3 on the way just yet. He's going to come over here and try to abuse the fact that Alive's tanks were on siege. This is a great move by Keen. It's exactly what you want to do when you go for a Bioforce.
Yeah, and
he's going to the main.
If he can take out a lot of the production facilities of Alive, then that's really going to make it a lot difficult for Alive to reinforce the rest of his army. He's taking a lot of SCVs. He doesn't want to focus on them right now. It's really good for Alive to actually bring them in the fight. They are replaceable, and there are mules to use instead. He just needs to keep his factories alive like he's doing. Really nice protection by Alive. He's going to lose a lot of units, but that's okay as long as he can save his 4th base. But it looks like that's under attack right now as well.
Vikings going to come over here to try to save the day, but a lot of SCVs being taken out here. He lost almost all of his tanks during that battle as well, lost his tank advantage.
Yeah, he brought a little bit too many units home. He didn't defend his base. He needed to split his force instead of bringing it all together. Usually you want to have your force together, but in a situation like this, you need to defend 2 different locations at the same time because your opponent's forces split as well.
Well, what happened there was Keen, you guys didn't see it, but Keen scanned right when Alive unsieged his tanks, and he was like, oh, lucky day, I'm just going to send all my bio over here, and that's what he did.
Yeah, and you also scattered this 5th base that Alive is trying to set up and sends over the minimum number of units that he needs to be able to stop that. That's really good for him.
Hellions coming over here, but there is a planetary, and that's going to really shut down their plans.
Yep.
Even some bio coming to help out as well. Well, supply-wise, Keen is 30 supply up. He was in this position before, though, and Alive was able to catch up.
Yep, it was looking pretty scary for Keen, but that run by with the
man,
did a really good job.
He's going to go up here again, using that Viking air superiority, using the Hellions to tank damage, doing a lot of damage, but not as much as he would have liked. And oh no, landing the Vikings. This could be game. He's lost everything now. Tanks falling to the Marauders. Nothing to help this base stay alive. Targeting down the SCVs. GG. Alive does not 4-0 the group. Instead, Keen takes that victory.
Wow.
Putting him at 2-1.
2-1. So Alive is at 3-1. Keen is at 2-1. Both of these guys are the most likely to make it into Code S, but it's not over quite yet.
Actually, that puts Keen at 3-1.
What?
I'm sorry, nope.
No.
2-2. He's at 2-2. He's already played all of his matches.
Oh, he is 3-1. Yeah, he's 3-1.
No, I'm sorry,
well,
guys. Like,
Keen is
score
Code
sheet's
S.
like all messed up. I'm like,
we gotta stop doing this and just wait for the.
I know.
on the screen.
I'm like, ugh.
Sorry,
We've got
guys.
this like crazy sheet of paper. Do you guys want to see it? It's like we have all these little like scribbles all over it and stuff. Torch is like writing all these
down
notes.
left wins
He's
all
like
the
drawing flowers in the middle of the cast, but I can't see it. I'm like, wait a minute, did we read that wrong? And
Yes.
it's just like all blurry and stuff. It's all your fault.
And if anyone's watched a lot of our casts before, we are both very bad at numbers when we're on cast.
I know.
Normally very good at numbers outside of the cast, but sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys.
It's the lights. I just can't think.
So people message me on Twitter and be like, Wolf doesn't know anything. Hasn't he been paying attention? I mean, he's there. He's only been casting like 10 games a day all week long.
10 of the best games in StarCraft 2 ever here at the G-Cell. The finals will be happening this Saturday, Korean Standard Time, which is actually Friday night for anyone in the U.S., Saturday morning for anyone in Europe. Yeah, check out your own time zone. I don't know all the transfers right now.
Only Mole Trap
But yeah,
knows.
there's a lot of cool stuff going on for the finals. It will be happening at the same time as some other really awesome esports events as well. A lot of really cool things going on. If you don't know of any sort of parties going on in your area, maybe you should start one. If you do know of them, awesome. Attend them. They're really fun to get around to people that are also interested in StarCraft.
Post on a website like teamliquid.net in the community section.
Or Reddit.
Tell
or
your
Twitter,
friends. Yeah, Reddit,
anything.
whatever. Be like, hey, do you live in this area because we're having a party? You should come.
Yep.
Do things like that. And that's
It's always
how you have
more
these
fun to
parties.
watch GSL with other people.
Yeah,
so,
it is.
Yeah. But even if you can't do that, because it might be late and you might have a bedtime, still good to watch. And you can watch it on your mobile iPhone if you have one of those. You can watch it live.
Yeah, your computer broke, but you have an iPhone. Who cares? Because you have an iPhone.
Yep. Little tiny computer.
Do you want to tell them about the secret
That's what
announcement?
I was just about to ask you.
Let's do it.
I think you should do it.
Guys, after next Friday's GSTL match, we're going to have a show match between Slayer's Boxer and Yellow. Yes, Yellow.
Yellow is starting to play StarCraft 2 a little bit heavily, so these two players are
A little bit
legends.
heavily.
A little bit heavily. Just a little bit. A little bit heavy.
I bet the internet just went crazy. Yep. We're going to take a 2-minute break. You guys should tell all your friends what we just told you.
And we'll get you more details after the break.